你的老板一定不想听你如何搞砸项目的理由，但是这奥克兰的交通一定可以成为你上班迟到最后且最可信的借口。为什么这么说呢？因为每一个人都是深受其害。您看啊，这坐公交车的朋友肯定能够感受到，公交车不管是延迟还是取消，信手拈来，还有高速上的拥堵、修路的 detour， 都是说来就来。通勤的这份心情可能因为有了迟到的理由变得相当的松弛，但是呢，等待的这份焦虑那可不是说赶走就能赶走的。今天我们就带着这份焦虑去问问几位奥克兰市长的候选人如何看待奥克兰棘手的交通问题的。
Cone Central. Welcome to Cone Central. Here we have what was formerly a nice clean 2 lanes to go up to a very important intersection. And now, as you'll see, it doesn't work like that. These cars are having to turn through 3 lanes in order to go left. I don't think Auckland Transport is listening.
It will always be a tragic problem in Auckland because there was no planning for years and years, so the infrastructure were not planned, and the city expanded naturally because of demographic. This is why. So to me, it's unsolvable.
这是必须得解决问题。你现在出行时间都没有保障，你按规定的半个小时，很快就可能达到50分钟、60分钟，时间掌握不住，出行根本就没有准确的时间。
When the options there, I do prefer car.
I'm always catching bus every day to the catch.
Take a bus, I take a train, I take ferry according to where I have to go.
自己开车。
那如果它的公共交通能够建设得更好的话，您会考虑选择公共交通出行？
那肯定啊，又舒服又便捷，那谁不喜欢？
In the last 10 years, my travel times in my car have increased by 300%. I used to work for an IT business. Our technicians can't go anywhere. And it must be even worse for tradies and other people who have to actually transport themselves from one location to another. And I think Auckland Transport has lost sight of the purpose of roads, which is the fast and efficient transport of people and goods around our city. And instead of doing that, they're spending all their time focusing on traffic calming, by which they mean decreasing speed limits, putting speed bumps everywhere, having 1 billion traffic cones all over the place, 1 million traffic lights everywhere that do nothing but cause congestion.
One thing we need to do is cut down the unnecessary bus lanes. How many times have we been sitting in a single lane with empty bus lanes which operate and nothing's on them? We need to limit the time and say to the buses, you can have half an hour during that time, the rest is open, and we've got 2 lanes. Immediately, we halve the congestion. So trucks. Why are we allowing trucks? And I've sat in there from Karaka to City, behind trucks and big trucks, get them off during rush hour.
But in general, there's definitely reliability issues, a lack of investment, I think, a lack of commitment that public transport is the way to go. The city doesn't get any bigger. More people are coming. We can't solve that with more cars. We can't solve that with more car parks. Those things are important to have good roads and fix potholes.
相比于全世界的国际化城市，奥克兰的公共交通系统远远落在了香港、新加坡，甚至是邻居城市悉尼之后。然而，其实，在上世纪50年代，奥克兰轨道交通的利用率是远远超过其他出行方式的，甚至在全世界也是排名靠前的。但是和早早开始发展地下轨道交通的很多城市不同，奥克兰多年来一直把扩建道路作为了交通发展的重心，以适应私家车数量增长的需求。而如今，拥堵已成为了这座城市交通的顽疾。今年7月的一份报告显示，奥克兰在84个同等规模国际城市中排名82，其中对私家车依赖程度过高成为一个重要指标。
公共交通很麻烦，就是有时候你要去一些目的地，比如说现在要去我朋友家，我就得走过去，因为公交车到不过去。
The trains, we went on the train to Eden Park, it was very slow. They should make them go faster.
2016年启动的城市轻轨 CRL 工程是奥克兰重塑公交布局的重要一步。通过新建 CBD 中的一段隧道轨道交通，将把原有的轨道系统连通，并有望在未来进一步延伸。然而，这个工程的效率却不尽如人意，工期一再延误的同时，成本也在逐年增加，并且直接影响了 CBD 的商业发展。
There's been some good things done. We have some nice stadiums, some nice venues, etc., etc. But there seems to be a lack of connection between the public transport.
In my first term, I will connect the airport immediately. That's not going to cost very much. We do need to worry about taking control of the costs through of the CCOs like Auckland Transport, but part of that is government control, but we can control what we can do.
We need a train that goes from Avondale over to South Auckland, the Avondale South Down line. Otherwise, people are going to keep staying in traffic for 2 hours a day, one way sometimes, if we don't have reliable transport going across the city. And thirdly, to open up the Huapai train line again, because we've got growth that is happening out there in that area, but they are forced to drive in. Yes, we have a busway that is being built, and I'm all in support of busways. But we are, we're a big city that should have train services right across our city as well.
We need a ring rail system around the Central Isthmus. We've got the skeleton of it now. If we were to connect Sylvia Park to New Lynn, suddenly people can go either way quickly around the Central Isthmus. Then we need to connect Manukau up through Howick and up to Pakuranga. Suddenly all east is covered. At the same time, we want to connect a northern link through Onehunga to the airport so you can go in and out quickly. That won't cost much. And finally, and most importantly, you must connect west to north and the North Shore. Now, this is the thing. They've been cut off for a long time.
Public transportation all over the world cannot be profitable. Cannot, by nature, you see.
早在2018年就有一份调查报告显示，奥克兰的公共交通收费是全世界第3贵的。而即便如此，从使用公共交通的乘客收费所得，仅占奥克兰交通总支出的不到30%。公共交通每年的运营成本都需要大量依赖地方和中央的财政补贴。
We do have the $50 cap, weekly cap. The issue is 70% of Aucklanders doesn't know it exists. So that's the real problem, I think, with Auckland Council and Auckland Transport, is our comms are just not effectively getting out to Aucklanders. So I think, nowadays it is all about social media. And we need to have a really good strategy to get that out and make sure that on the Auckland Transport app, for example, if we have a theme or an event, we know that we've just signed off some funding for additional events in the city centre, that we could maybe look at having a day of free transport to encourage people to get onto the train.
The spending is shocking. This year alone, you'll be shocked to know we spent $3.59 billion. This is like a big business, like in China, Singapore, like a big business spending. So, if you are CEO and the shareholders will say, oh, you spent $3.59 billion. Where's the profit? No profit. You just spent So if 200 million is for the workers and maybe 1 billion for all the repairs, the bus, then what happened to the other 2 billion? I'm going to check that. If I come here, I'm going to audit the accounts of the AT.
I'm not saying that the roading system is faring much better, but public transport is certainly not an efficient way to transport around the city. So, would I like to see that be more efficient and effective? Yes. Do I think continuing to subsidise a poor public transport system is efficient and effective? No. I think we have to stop subsidising bad decisions. And as soon as you do that, people will select the appropriate transport for themselves. If the people that are making the decisions actually had to use the transport that they are promoting, they might actually do something proper about it.
在过去5年中，奥克兰几乎每年都有公交车司机集体罢工事件发生，罢工原因多为薪资增加的诉求。 2022年6月更发生过因为司机人手极度短缺，导致每天有1400趟公交车行程被迫取消。
But sometimes they are cancelled and they are late, and yeah, it's so frustrating when you're, especially when you're hurrying to going to your work. It's like, oh no, it's kind of frustrating for some time.
会慢一些吧，高峰期，要么就有时候有一天，要么就是劣质天气、恶劣天气的时候，他们也会慢一点，就是会影响到上学的，有人会迟到，挤不上去就只能等下一辆，因为里面人真的特别多。
I have been taking public transport for 1.5 years, just to evaluate and also find out all the issues. And I find that actually many of the workers have been blamed that, they are not doing well, this and that, the service is bad. I think maybe only 10%, and I understand because many of them maybe they come here, but they are maybe transportation of goods. So suddenly you drive the bus, right? You're forgetting there's a customer. There's a lady trying to slowly walk down. You got to wait for them and be nice, and you got to practice customer service.
Maybe public transport is better for them. Maybe if we actually stop licensing people who can't drive, then they will provide that critical mass that we need to actually support a proper public transport system that's efficient and effective. So there's a lot of complications there and what we need to look at. But we have to get rid of all the obstructions on our Auckland roads. That is the #1 priority. And so anything that is a traffic calming measure, anything that is slowing people down, anything that is getting in people's way, all of that needs to go.
已经在网上注册过或者呢有过投票经历的奥克兰的居民朋友，应该都已经收到了这样的一份投票邮包。这个邮包里呢会有一个投票信封、一封候选人的介绍，还有一张选票。选票中有3项内容需要投票：奥克兰市长1名，您所在大区的市议员2名，以及您居住地的地方委员会成员4名。填写完毕之后，放入投票信封封好，请注意一定要把地址面朝窗口处放好哦。那么在选择结束之后呢，只要投入您当地的投票处或者是任意的新西兰的邮局就可以了。投票地点除了邮局，还有所有的公共图书馆，还有部分的超市和公共场所。那么登录奥克兰的投票网站 voteauckland.co.nz 就可以查询距离您最近的投票点了。需要注意的是，投递到邮局邮箱的截止日期呢是2025年的10月7号，而投票处的截止日期是10月11号的中午，所以一定要把时间记准喽。如果您没有收到这样的投票邮包，或者是丢了，都不用着急。登录奥克兰的投票网站，也就是刚才我们提到的 voteauckland.co.nz， 只要进行身份认证，也可以在截止日期前进行现场投票，都是 OK 的。那么希望大家都可以投出自己负责任的一票，来为奥克兰的未来助力。